The Amber Barrier custom dice, viewed by many as the worst custom dice in the game and the hardest to play on higher conundrums. But there is a reward for clearing it on Conundrum 10, so if you're struggling with this one, here's how you do it. Quick disclaimer, this isn't a cheese method or a guaranteed victory. At the end of the day, this is still going to depend on your characters and their progression. This guide is here as a quick reference for those who want to know what die loadouts to play and the general strategy behind the custom dice. So let's kick it off with our general dice strategy. The Amber Barrier dice is a knowledge based dice where the general strategy is to generate as many knowledge tiles on the field as we can. This time, however, tiles with knowledge on them do not collapse, and the aim is to avoid stepping on these tiles. We want to leave as many up as possible, as whenever we step on a boss, abnormal occurrence or transaction domain, we get 15 fragments and 1 stack of our path boost bonus for every knowledge tile that's still left on the field. The key to playing this build can be expressed in 2 steps. Our first goal is to generate and propagate as much knowledge as we can onto the field. Then, for phase 2, we're going to want to hit as many transaction domains as we can. Not only will this trigger our bonus, it's also going to let us buy out 9 blessings and 3 couriers for every transaction domain that we hit. In order to do this, we're going to need a lot of money, and this is where our die loadout comes into play. So let's take a look at the die loadout. We want knowledge, and the best exponential knowledge spreader is the principal die face. It immediately applies knowledge to one domain adjacent to every domain that has knowledge. This of course is far more effective when you've already got a couple of knowledge tiles on the field in order to increase the rate of propagation. So that's where our general deduction die face comes in. This face applies knowledge to 3 random domains that don't yet have knowledge. So this is amazing because it won't apply to existing knowledge domains, so you're going to be guaranteed 3 knowledge tiles as long as there are tiles to apply it to. Then we've got general topology. Now this is secretly the hero of this loadout. We get 15 fragments per knowledge domain when stepping on a boss, abnormal occurrence or transaction domain, but the general topology gives us double that amount at 30 fragments per knowledge domain, and it's also not limited to any particular domain. So once you're rocking 10 knowledge tiles on the field, we're picking up 300 fragments every single time. Follow that up with an abnormal occurrence or transaction domain and you're walking in there with 450 fragments. So that's enough to nab yourself quite a few blessings. This die face is ideally paired with a gossip curio if we're lucky enough to come across that on one of our runs. Now onto our purple die face. General counteract is going to be amazing once you've set up your knowledge tiles. It lets us pick one domain and copy it to an adjacent domain. We will ideally be using this to duplicate transaction domains, and the great thing about this die face is that it places the duplicated domain next to the original, so you're almost always going to be guaranteed to make use of it. Then for our last 2 faces, it's just more knowledge generation. So general entropy is very straightforward in that it lets you apply knowledge to one domain of your choosing. This is nice because once we determine our pathing, we want to have as much control as we can on where we place our knowledge tiles so that it's not wasted. And then we've got knowledge protectiveness, which is really useful for applying knowledge to hard to reach places. I find that it can be especially useful at the start of each plane, as you would typically have at least 2 domains collapsing as you move forward. Okay, so that's the loadout and strategy. If you were just here for the quick guide, that's it, simple as that. Now, what I wanted to do with these dice guides is to follow them up with a video of my full run at Conundrum 10 to 12, with some running commentary on why I picked certain things or point out mistakes that I made. My goal with this is to avoid showing any runs where everything goes perfectly, because that's not what we're about here. These are going to be fairly realistic runs to try and show that not everything has to fall into place for things to work out. I'm not a whale, my team are all E0, with some of them running S1 weapons, and I'll share their full loadout at the end of the video. Okay, so from Conundrum 10 onwards, you need to pick a negative cure at the start of every run. I chose to go with this one here that makes your techniques cost 2 points, and you definitely want to avoid the IPC cuckoo clock as we're going to need our fragments. And then with the starting bonus, I was hoping to get the price of peace curio to get the 150 fragments on every transaction, but unfortunately I didn't get it. So if you guys don't mind fishing for curios, this is actually going to be the best curio to start with, and it's going to make your runs a lot easier. But I do know that many people absolutely hate fishing for curios, so I wanted to show that it's definitely not necessary. So for the blessings, I'm playing the Path of Erudition, which is amazing for an Argenti team. So I'm typically focusing on damage blessings at the start, since a plane 1 boss doesn't really do that much damage. Oh, we got pretty lucky there and grabbed ourselves 1 cheat early on. Alright, first die roll of the game, and it's a pretty good one. Like I mentioned before, protectiveness is pretty great at the start of a run. It's a nice way to get 2 knowledge tiles that instantly get locked in. And then here we get a little emergency that actually turned out pretty well for us because it turned one of our domains into a transaction, so that's a little bit of a win. So the obvious choice here is the delay on break, as we're running a Ron May, so we're going to be doing plenty of breaks, so this should get some use. Well, I almost fell into the trap of picking a blue card just because they're blue. So on this roll here, I was actually expecting way more knowledge tiles, but it turns out that if the tile has already collapsed, it won't actually spread knowledge with a principal die face, which is pretty annoying, so we only got 2 additional knowledges on that roll. Alright, so this blessing here is actually one of the best defensive blessings in the game. It gives you 8% damage reduction for every skill point that you use, and that's multiplicative, so that's a significant damage reduction when you compare it to something like 10% additional defense. So we can't really make full use of it with our team since we only use 1 skill point at a time, but even so it's still really good. That's the power of multiplicative scaling there. So this is one of the best year edition blessings. 20% res penetration on your ultimates is huge. If you look at Ron May, she gives a huge boost to your DPS with 25% res penetration, so 20% on a single blessing is amazing, one of the best damage boosts that you can get for this path. So for this part here, I opened the map and I saw that we had a transaction domain coming up, so I used the cheat to roll topology to get myself some fragments so that we can go shopping. And then I have no idea why, but I monkey brained it and I clicked on intracognition instead. I honestly don't know what I was doing there. The topology did give us 270 fragments, which wasn't too bad, but if I had stepped on the transaction, I would have gotten another 120 fragments and 8 stacks of bonus. Not only that, I also missed the chance of then following that up by going north into the abnormal occurrence for another 105 fragments and 7 stacks of bonus. So that one mistake cost me 225 fragments and about 60% ultimate damage bonus, so I'm pretty dumb. So between the bosses here, you definitely don't want to pick these Sanctus Medicus guys. They're just so tanky on Conundrum 12, especially this early in the run, which means that they're just constantly getting the heal off, and it just becomes an absolute nightmare trying to kill them. So I'm just going to quickly skip through this boss, as I think the first one is pretty easy. Let me know in the comments if you prefer it if I left it in, but I think the only bosses that most people care about are the plane 2 and 3, as that's usually the run enders right there. So we got ourselves some nice blessings here. I really like the fighting stacks. They're not multiplicative, but you do get 2 blessings in one, in that they're both offensive and defensive. So I opted to go with this over the year edition blessing, since I knew that plane 2 we really needed to work on our survival. Okay, now it's plane 2, so we need to pick another negative curio. I went with this one here, but honestly the Cognito Invalidator isn't actually too bad when you run year edition. It removes all your energy at the start of a fight, but it actually happens before the year edition blessing that gives you full energy at the start of a fight. So if you manage to get that blessing, you can pretty much cancel out this curio. Alright, so now so far it's been a pretty terrible run. I've only triggered 8 stacks of our bonus in plane 1, and that was just from the plane 1 boss. So I decided to spread some more knowledge and hit up this transaction to get myself another 5 stacks and some additional fragments. This transaction domain though was amazing. It gave us both a satellite for reduced shop prices and also a gossip curio for double income. So now our topology dice is going to be even stronger at 60 fragments per knowledge domain. So now with this, we're able to be a little bit more generous when it comes to spending on blessings. We're not going to be able to go nuts, but we are able to grab a couple of high value blessings that ramp up the damage and defense. And now I'm just going to skip past these next few domains, as all we had were some battles. But since I had the Gossip Curio, I no longer received any blessings from them, so we came out of these with nothing. I did however spread a little bit more knowledge though, and then I started duplicating some transaction domains up north as I made my way towards it. So from around this point here, we're going to be fully focused on building up our blessings. I still do look at the curio store just in case there are any high value curios that give more blessings, but we're primarily going to be focused on getting blessings to prepare for the plane 2 boss. Here I'm mainly focused on getting anything that gives me more damage to my ultimates, along with anything that gives me energy, as we're going to be aiming to chain our ultimates as much as we can to nuke down bosses. So we managed to get some pretty good ones here. I got the one that gave me crit rate and crit damage on our ultimates, along with one of the best blessings in the game, Auspicious Star, which gives you energy back whenever you kill something. So now we've got another transaction domain coming up, so I wanted to make sure that we had enough money to spend. So I blew a cheat on another topology roll, which gave me 540 fragments, then stepping on the transaction itself gave another 240 along with 8 stacks of bonus. So I actually opted to pick up the space cheese here, since 1 Eidolon on all members is pretty decent in most cases. Ron May and Argenti's E1s are particularly good, so I think it wasn't a bad pick here. The blessings were also pretty decent for our run. I managed to pick up 2 gold erudition blessings here, which focused on brain inner jar energy, which really helps. So not much to say about this section here. I was low on cheats and rerolls, so I kind of just left it to fate. It did let me duplicate a intro to cognition domain here though, so I did manage to pick up some more rerolls, but as you can see here, I ended up blowing them all trying to fish for a topology face, so that all went to waste with almost zero return. I did however manage to pick up a cheat on the next intro cognition domain though, so we managed to get one topology at the end of it all. So that's 480 fragments in the pocket for our next transaction domain in plane 3. So that's pretty much plane 2 right there. We managed to get to the boss with 37 stacks of bonus for a total of 148 ultimate damage and about 28 blessings. I decided to go for Svarog as the boss here, even though he's a bit of a pain in the ass, simply because I really didn't want to deal with the nihility extrapolation this time. So I'll just let the boss battle play out here in case you wanted to see what kind of damage we're now dealing and taking at this point in the game. Svarog is fairly harmless in the first 2 phases, but phase 3 can get very dangerous very quickly, especially if you don't deal with his arms. His exploding hands are also very dangerous as they will instantly kill anyone they hit if you don't deal with them properly.
Adjusting calculations. I will protect all beauty. Reevaluating. I will protect all beauty. Annihilation sequence.
I see through you. Together as one.
These are devils. I'll crush them all. Initiating value exceeds threshold.
Yin and yang. Every petal in life, all will be swept away by the wind. All things in this human creation.
Beauty is eternal. My oath is to a solitary rose. Purge initiated. Power amplification. Wretched and fleeting. I will protect all beauty. Application authorized. Executing annihilation. Evaluating variables. Until I will protect all beauty.
A quick divination. Converge and awaken. I'm scared.
Stay put. Executing operation.
Yin and yang.
Analysis complete.
Eternal.
Beauty is eternal. Push forward. Purge initiated.
Yin and yang.
Hide this individual.
All things human creation.
Until I will protect all beauty.
All things human creation.
These are devils. I'll crush them all. Reinforcing. Push forward.
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Transmission module overload.
Together as one. Human creation.
My guiding light.
Human creation.
Wretched and fleeting. I will protect all beauty. Family.
Alright, now we're in plane 3, home stretch, and once again we need to pick up a negative curio. So if you're ever given the option to pick this unicorn curio, make sure you take it, because it's by far the most useless negative curio, and it shouldn't impact you at all as long as you're semi-decent at adventure challenges. So plane 3 also starts us in a transaction domain, which is the reason why I was fishing for a topology face before entering. This will also be the last time we get to shop for blessings here, as we have no way of duplicating this domain. So for the strategy for plane 3 itself, you've got 3 options. You can either duplicate adventure domains, reward domains, or intracognition domains. Out of the 3, intracognition is probably the best choice, since in plane 3 they always give you the Genius Society version, which gives you 1 blessing, 1 curio, and some fragments. So this is much better than adventure domains, since they give you the same thing, but you have a chance of failing and getting nothing. That said, I am a madman, so I decided to duplicate adventure domains while running the unicorn negative curio, just for more of a challenge. So if you're watching this and you're having trouble with any of these adventure domains, I've got guides for all of them on my channel showing you how to get a perfect score every single time. So make sure you check that out if you need it. Alright, so here we are. We've got a total of 33 blessings and 37 stacks of bonus on this run. I did say at the start of the run that this was not going to be a showcase of a perfect run, and I think we did a pretty good job living up to that. I think there's definitely room for more transaction domains along the way, and I think that if you really tried, you could probably get to this point with over 40 blessings and a lot more path boost. So for the boss selection, I think Argenti is a little bit harder than the Swarm for most people, but he does have a physical weakness which plays well to my team composition, so I decided to take him on instead of the Swarm. So that's going to be it for the running commentary. I'm going to leave this fight right here to play out for those of you who want to watch it. Let me know down in the comments what custom die you're having the most trouble with and what team you want me to run for the next video, and I'll try to play around it. Hopefully this was helpful in getting you a C12 Ember Barrier run.
This symbol of pure beauty. Beauty is eternal. I will protect all beauty. Confess.
Yin and yang.
Until I will protect all beauty. Bear witness to honor.
I see through you. Together as one. I'm gonna hold everyone back again. Protect me, please. I'm scared.
These are devils. I'll crush them all.
All things human creation. All things human creation.
Get the rise to the
There's more
challenge.
to life. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Until I will protect all beauty. The flesh will rise to the challenge. Until I will protect all beauty. Rise to the challenge. I will protect all beauty. Until I see. I will protect all beauty.
No matter.
Behold, this symbol of pure beauty.
A quick divination. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Until I see. I will protect all beauty. Rise to the challenge.
Converge and awaken. Scared?
Stay put.
Eternal. Some value, I suppose.
Rise to the challenge. My oath is to assault. Beauty is eternal. Pledge thine loyalty. Flesh wound. Let the duel commence.
Yin and yang. I see through you. Together as one.
Put forth all your might.
Enjoy yourself. Yin and yang.
You are fighting a gentleman.
All things human creation.
Until I see. I will protect all beauty. Until I will protect all beauty. These are devils. I'll crush them all.
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
My guiding light. Rigid and fleeting. I will protect all beauty. I will protect all beauty. The flesh will until I will protect all beauty. My oath is to a solid. Beauty is eternal. Bear witness. To let the duel commence. The flesh wound.
Converge and awaken! I'm gonna hold everyone back again! No matter.
Put forth all your might!
Good fortune is bound to return. Existence is unity.
Wretched and fleet flesh! Behold, this symbol of pure beauty! I will protect all beauty! You are fighting a gentleman. I will protect all beauty!
A quick divination. All things in the human creation. All things in the human creation.
Rise to the challenge!
Together as one. I'm scared.
Stay put!
Yin and yang. Yin and yang. All things in the human creation. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Put forth all your might!
Good fortune is bound to return.
These are devils! I'll crush them all! My guiding light. Beauty is eternal! I will protect all beauty! Rise to the challenge until I see. I will protect all beauty!